Evening. I hope you're all doing well. Friday evening's amongst us. The weekend is upon us, and my goodness, I need football back. And I'm talking about club football. International football's decided to do everybody a favour and injure more Arsenal players. We're going to be talking about Odegaard. We're going to be talking about Saka. We're going to be talking about Saliba and his future. We're also going to be looking at potential for a striker in January. What I want to do tonight is get your questions in. We're going to do a Q&A with myself, get all of the questions on the screen now. This is your warning. Anything you want to ask me in relation to what's happening right now in terms of football, England, Arsenal, just ask me. All I ask is if you want to put a super chat in, it will go to the front of the queue. If you do want to ask me a question, make sure you put a Q and normally a capital Q at the start of it. So I know it's a question. It's just easier for me to star it. So get those questions in now, people. Do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed. Then what are you waiting for? You need to be part of the 12th man community. Everybody is welcome. We are getting our subscribers up very, very closely. We've now hit over 25k. We're on the road to 30k, people. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. It is no fee for you at all. This is free content. So all I ask is that you hit like and subscribe. That is it. Anybody asking a question, please put a Q at the start of it. Nando has asked me a question. I'm going to star it, but he hasn't put a Q at the start of it. But big up to you, Nando. Let's say hello to the chat as well. Big up to PSV. We've got Fizzy in the house. Nando, of course. Suj, absolute legend. And Suj has already got one in. I mean, what a legend he is, man. He's already put in a super chat like he always does. Absolute legend. He says, hit the like and subscribe, people. Absolutely. That's what's needed. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. That is all I ask. It's free. Do it now. Thank you, people. Big up to Carol, who's joined as well in the evening. Thank you so much, darling. I hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying what will be a very good weekend for us all, because do you know what? One thing we can do is relax, because there's no nerves going into an Arsenal fixture this weekend. So let's enjoy our family time, our friends, socialise, go and enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself and have fun. That is all we ask here at 12th Man. Big up to every single one of you, man. I really, truly believe that. I mean that. Let's start with talking about Odegaard. Now, we're not going to go on to new injuries here. We're going to go on to old injuries. And the reason I say old injuries is because I truly do not believe Odegaard has had a setback. I don't believe Odegaard is out now even longer than he was going to be. I think Odegaard was always out till around about December. I always believed it was probably going to be November, December time. I look at it in January and think hopefully it's before then, because we've got some big fixtures coming up. I look at it also thinking Odegaard, for me, as soon as he rolled his ankle, I thought if there's ligament or tendon damage, that could be months. And I floated around the end of November. They're saying there's an injury setback now and it's December. The reason I don't believe that is because Mikel Arteta has been so coy every time he's been asked about Martin Odegaard in interviews. Anytime someone's mentioned the name Martin Odegaard, he's like, we're not sure yet. We're still checking. We don't know if it's a few weeks. We don't think it looks good. He's got a boot on at the moment. He hasn't taken that off yet. It's like just parking it week by week by week. And then, of course, when he said, let's see what happens after the international break, he's realised, yeah, we better let people know that this isn't going to be the case. We're going to have to tell them that he's had an injury setback. Now, I actually think what Arteta's done is okay. People might see it as lying to the fans. I don't think it's lying. I think it's potentially bending the truth to not just the fans, but to the football world. If the injury to Martin Odegaard after that Norway game would have been the first interview from Arteta, oh yeah, it looks like he's out till New Year, the whole of the world is deflated, other than the rival fans. The whole of the world of Arsenal are starting to think, not good. I think the way he's done it is actually quite good. And it's quite good now because actually December, in your mind, it doesn't feel so far away. But back in September time at the start, you know, when it was kind of end of July, August, September, and then we got boom, you think, wow, January? Oh my God, this is a disaster. So actually, I think when you look at what Mikel Arteta has said there, I think it's looking likely that there could be a setback for Odegaard, but I think he was always out till around about end of November, December time anyway. Judges and I were talking earlier on his channel. Make sure you go check that one out. And he's earmarked mid-November. I earmarked around to November time. I didn't really want to give a potential date or specific date. And I actually put Marino into that bracket as well. And I thought that we'd have to assess when we get to the international break where we are at with Marino and, of course, Odegaard. And look, there's not many sources that are stating that it's an absolute definite that Odegaard is out. I think we'll see in the coming days that Odegaard will be probably rumoured to be back in December, late November. I don't think it will go past Christmas, January. It depends how bad. I mean, there's no break. There's no nothing more than, I believe, ligament or tendon damage. That is going to take some time. He's only just had his boot off. We saw him a couple of days ago running. But it was on an anti-gravity treadmill, which basically isn't running. It's kind of like helps you run, basically. I don't quite know how to explain it, really. But I do feel like Odegaard's injury has always been quite serious, if I'm honest with you. I don't think we could ever sit there and say that when you roll your ankle, yeah, a couple of weeks, you'll be running around again. It can take months. And I think in this case, that's what's going to happen. If I'm honest with you, we've actually replaced Odegaard pretty well. We've managed to get by without him pretty well. I think we've missed him in certain games, but I don't think the results and the performances show that. There's certainly times in games at the Emirates and other games that we've played where I felt we need Odegaard. We need that creativity. We need that vision. We need that lead from the press. We've missed him on the pitch with the armband. But actually, we haven't on the field when you look at Trossard, when you look at Ethan Nwaneri coming in, when you look at Saka's goals and assists, Havertz goals and assists, Martinelli getting back on the score sheet now. I think we're starting to show that we do have a little bit more strength in depth than perhaps we believed. And if I'm honest with you, if it wasn't for Ethan Nwaneri bursting onto the scene for the last couple of games against Bolton and when he came on against Leicester, I'd still be crying out for why we didn't go and buy Eze or somebody like that in the summer, because that's what I did when the window shut. If you remember, I was devastated. I was like, why have we just bought Sterling and we sold everybody else? You can't sell 4 and buy 1. But little did we know Ethan Nwaneri was going to come through, and Trossard was actually seen as the replacement or cover for Odegaard in that 10. Havertz could play there, but if I'm honest, I prefer him as a number 9. In Arteta's eyes, he still likes to drop him deep. I don't quite know why, but for me, Trossard is the guy, and that's what I want. That's what I want. So that's that. Listen, people, as I said at the start, make sure you put in your questions. I want to get your questions tonight. I want to do a Q&A. That's what I want to do. Q&A tonight. Ask away. Big Q at the start so I know it's a question, so I can star it, and then you get it read out. And also super chats, of course, will go to the front of the queue. So big up to every single one of you. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're hitting subscribed. Make sure you're using the code FTM20 over at Manscaped for the beard hedger, because that's on offer still. Don't forget that. And let's move. We're going to talk about Saka now. Now, I saw pictures of Saka walking off. I saw pictures of Saka today walking with a little bit of a limp. I don't believe it's personally an injury that's going to keep him out for a long time. We know Saka comes back from everything, right? Wouldn't even surprise me if he's in the squad on Sunday. That's how mad this guy is. But he needs a proper break now. Let's just leave him now until we play Bournemouth at the weekend, next weekend. Let's just leave him now until that. Let's just hope that he's back for that. Look, Saka for me is a top player, but he's played too much football now. And I think last night proved it. He went down. He had a bad hamstring. He's trying to play it on. He's trying to get through it. But let's just be real. I'm not so sure that I'm looking at Saka thinking, wow, he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. I think the worst, it will be 3 to 4 weeks. So he'll miss potentially a chunk of games. He'll miss, if he's out for a couple of weeks, he'll miss Bournemouth, Shakhtar, Donetsk, Liverpool, potentially Preston, which I don't think he would have played anyway. And hopefully we can get him back for that big, big week of fixtures against Newcastle at St. James's Park, Inter Milan at the San Siro, and Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. My goodness, what a week of football that is. That is an incredible week of football. We need all our players fit, and Odegaard isn't going to be fit, so it means we need Saka fit. Because without Saka and Odegaard, I do worry for where our goals and assists do come from. We're relying on Kai Havertz. We need Martinelli to step up. We need Trossard to step up. But you know what? We need Sterling and Jesus to start stepping up now. Sterling is a lot of money a week, yeah? Whether you believe he's worth that or not, 350k that I know Chelsea are paying most of. That's a lot of money, which means you're a talented player. Jesus was £50 million and he's on 250k a week. So do you know what? Time to turn it on, boys. Because Sterling, I know he's still adapting and I'm willing to give him more time. But Jesus has had enough time. I've been told Jesus is sharper than ever, fitter than ever. So go start scoring some goals and creating. Because these are the two I'm looking at now. One of those is going to end up standing in place for, or standing in, should I say, for Saka. One of them is going to be on the right, whether it's Sterling or Jesus, in my opinion. So they've got to deliver. They've got to knock on that door and say, listen, Mikel, I'm here. Saka is out, no problem. Let me come in. And the performances need to be, I ain't getting out of this team. Yeah, Saka's going to come on the right, but that means I'm on the left. Martinelli, you're out. That's the sort of performance we need from Sterling and Jesus. None of this, oh yeah, we'll come in and we need a few weeks really to adapt and to get better and to start getting a couple of goals and start getting in play. Nah, man. Sterling on the ball, he does cause havoc. He does threaten. I need to see some output. Jesus on the ball is not doing anything at the moment, if I'm honest with you. And he's a talented footballer. So I need to see more from both of these. I really do. When I saw that performance against Southampton, I looked at those two and I thought, wow, this is the worst side in the league and you cannot do it. It is poor. It is really poor. So those are the two I'm looking at. Look, Saka might not miss a massive chunk of games. It's not been confirmed yet. We don't know quite where we're at with him in terms of his length of injury. We don't know where we're at with Odegaard. Rumours are Saka could be out for a couple of weeks. Rumours are Odegaard could be back, might not be back until end of November, December. That's the rumours at the moment. That's all we can go off of. But do you know what? Even if Saka was fit and Odegaard was fit, I want Trossard and Ethan to be ballers. I want Sterling and Jesus to be knocking on the door saying, Saka, watch over your shoulder. So now, as much as I'm losing patience with both Sterling and Jesus at the last few games I've seen them, we need them now more than ever. We need Trossard to step up. We need Ethan Nwaneri when he comes on to actually show that he can give competition in that position. Now that Odegaard might be out a bit longer, he might get another chance. Martinelli needs to keep scoring goals, and so does Kai Havertz. We need these players, man. We need them now more than ever. Some people are saying that we could play Ethan Nwaneri on the right. Some are saying we could play Martinelli on the right, Trossard on the left, and Ethan Nwaneri through the middle. I think we've got some options. But if I'm honest with you, I think the likelihood is that Trossard will remain in the 10, Martinelli will remain on the left, Havertz will be up top, and it'll be Sterling or Jesus on the right. And then we've got Nwaneri on the bench, and the other one on the bench, Jesus or Sterling. That's what I think will happen. If I'm honest with you, I'd probably play Sterling because he was the one we bought, right? He replaced Reece Nelson. He's the backup to Saka, I was told. So we've got to play him. And if he isn't good enough, then sorry, but why did we buy him? We could have just kept Reece because he was actually okay when he came on a few times. Or Smith Rowe. So that's where we're at. So look, got to have faith in Sterling and Jesus now. That's all we have. Saka and Odegaard out. If they are out, then yeah, might have to rely on them more than we potentially wanted to this season until they get back from injury. So that could be really key. Let me talk about Saliba. I've mentioned quite a few times. I think we could be in a sticky situation this summer if he doesn't want to stay because he's only got 2 years left on his deal. So we have to make that horrible decision of, do you want to stay? Not sure. Are you going to sign? Maybe next year. So we risk going into 1 year. What do we do? Do we say to Real Madrid, give us 150 million and he's yours? Or do we say he's not for sale and risk him going for a lot cheaper in a couple of years' time? And in fact, for free, if we're not careful. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Salah and Van Dijk are all on 1 year left. Liverpool have left them to one last minute. Poor from the board. I don't want to get any of these deals down to 2 years. I don't want Saka, Saliba, Odegaard or Rice on 2 year contracts. I want them on 4 years all the time. And that means every couple of years, we're going to have to just offer them another couple of years contract. And that means that we might have to pay them close to £300,000 a week each. But you know what? That's the market. They're good enough. They're most important players. You got to give them the dollar. That's the way I see it. Real talk. Rice, yep, he'll be the same in a couple of years. Saka, likewise. Martinelli, Odegaard, Saliba, Gabriel, all these guys are going to be knocking on the door going, hang on a minute. 300k a week. Yeah, we'll have that then, please. So this is where Arsenal are at now. We've had it nice up to now. Now we're competing. Everyone wants our players, which means we've got to pay them the proper dollar. The other thing we've got to do is start winning. We've got to start lifting trophies, peeps. We've got to get to a stage where we're competing and we're winning, not competing and we're failing. And that will keep Saliba happy. And not only Saliba, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, Jesus, Rice, all of these players that are looking at their futures potentially in the coming years will go, why am I going anywhere? I'm staying here. Look at what we're winning. That's what we've got to be looking at, man. I'll take Jesus out of that, actually, because I think he's probably one that could be going, to be fair. I don't know what your thoughts are on players leaving Arsenal. I know it's a weird time to talk about it. But for me, Jesus is one of them. Zinchenko is another. I think we have to look at the career of Tomiyasu and think how injury prone has he been. Partey and Jorginho's contracts are up. So what do we do there? So there's definitely question marks. We know the players we want, right? The players that we're linked with, the players that potentially we are in a kind of rumour mill with. Florian Wirtz, Tchouaméni, obviously Nico Williams, Isak, Gyökeres, Sesko. Interesting. For me, I really believe that we're going to be in a situation in January where I think a striker could get us across the line. And that's where I want to go next. We were linked with Sesko early summer. Nothing happened because he signed a agreement/gentleman's agreement that he was going to stay at Leipzig. Does that mean that he wants to come to Arsenal in the summer or in January? Arsenal are heavily linked with him. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not too keen on Benjamin Sesko. I'm actually not. I don't think he's outstanding. I think Compenda's been better than him, right? I think when you look at the goals that he scored, I think we're looking for the wrong one. He's the one who's not scored as many. So, look, that's what I would say. Isak would be my dream in the summer. Gyökeres would be my dream in January/the summer. If we're linked with Sesko, which I think we have been heavily before, I kind of feel like he's the one that we will end up potentially getting. He likes that sort of forward, doesn't he, Mikel Arteta? He likes Kai Havertz. Sesko's similar in terms of his attributes and stature. I think that's why we might go for Benjamin Sesko. It's going to be interesting, man. Let's take some of your questions for the last part of the show. This one comes in from Nando. It says, England are embarrassing. All that Palmer talk. Where was he last night? Surely he's world class. He can play anywhere. He's that good. I will give Palmer some little bit of defence here. I don't ever see him playing in central midfield, but I did last night. Lee Carsley, what a joke. Why was he playing next to Rice? What was he going to do there? He's so much better going forward. So, Nando, I'm with you, but I thought Foden was the invisible one. That's for sure. Hit the like and subscribe, people. Sush says with the super chat, make sure you're doing that. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Big up to everyone in the house. We need 2 signings in January. Your 2, at least. If we could sign 2 players, it'd be Nico Williams and Victor Gyökeres. They're the 2 that I would get in January. In the summer, it might change. Well, actually, only one of them would change. It would be Isak and Nico Williams. Or maybe Florian Wirtz, but yeah, that's where I'm at. But big up, Nando. With Leroy Sané's contract expiring in the summer, would you take him as cover for anywhere in the front 3? No, I don't think I would. I think we need to go for someone with that pace and power, like Nico Williams. Leroy Sané has got pace. He's got power, but he's 29. And how long are we going to get him for? Him and Sterling are on the same sort of bracket. He's out of favour at Bayern Munich now. I don't want players that are out of favour. I want players that everyone wants. So Nico Williams would be the one for me, Suj. He would, 100%. Suleiman says, how many times and years are we going to go through a state where we cannot see our strongest starting 11 for a full season? It seems like we're going to have another one there, bro. If you remember last season, we couldn't get Partey, Rice and Odegaard playing. Now we've not been able to get Rice, Marino and Odegaard playing. We've not had the front 3 available for majority of last season, and now we're starting to believe that we can get it back. But now Saka's just got injured. We've got the back line, which we still don't know what is our best back line, but we now finally have Timber back, but Tomiyasu's been out, Zinchenko's now out. So there's always a player per department that's injured, right? That's why when you get a squad of 20, you're only really ever going to have 15 to 18 fit. You're always going to get 2 or 3 injured. So that's where I'm at. One thing I do agree with is actually this obsession that we've got with buying Chelsea players. And Shane's brought it up here. Why on earth do we keep buying Chelsea players? And this Sterling one's no different. They didn't want him. Who wants him? Oh, Arsenal are coming in again for one of our players, on top of David Luiz, on top of Willian, on top of Lasana Diarra, on top of Petr Cech. It's crazy. Jorginho and Havertz are the only 2 that have actually worked out, to be fair. All of the others, Sterling's a question mark. They haven't really. They just haven't. So, look, that's the way I'm seeing it. So, yeah. Here we go. Question to the people watching. Why haven't you not liked the stream? Trust me, you need to. Come on, people. We've got well over up to 150 of you in the house at the moment, and we have nowhere near enough likes. Let's get the likes up, people. We've not even got 50 yet. Come on. Let's at least get it to 100 for now, yeah? Come on, people. Get it up to 100 likes. It would be great to see. What other questions have we got in here? We're walking on a thin line. Well, look, potentially, because Odegaard and Saka are out, but we've still got cover, man. So don't worry. We had most of our starting 11 last year. It wasn't good enough. I agree. But we weren't able to get that midfield trio, Joseph. We wanted to see Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. This season, we want to see Rice, Marino, and Odegaard. Will we be able to get it? We'll be able to get it. Let's see what happens here. Chuck says on Odegaard, he was always out till December. There was no setback. The quicker the fan base learn they're having their pants pulled down, the better. So naive and fickle, this fan base. Look, I don't know if it's that. I think, listen, he's always definitely been out long, but I think Arteta's tried to cover that as best he can to try and support the fan base and the teams that would be so deflated by it. So that's what I would say. Stevens just like the stream. Big up, man. Make sure everyone else is doing that as well, yeah, because that is really, really important. Let's come to a close in the last 10-15 by talking about Gyökeres. This is a player that I think Arsenal just simply have to sign. We get to January. If we're in touching distance or ahead of Man City, that is the sort of player we need. I'm sorry, but it is. That's the sort of player we need right now. He's absolutely flying. Let me get his stats up because I think a lot of people will be surprised at how good this guy's been so far and of last season. People always talk about how he's at Coventry and he's not good enough and Sporting Lisbon's league is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you look at his time at Coventry, right, he got 17 goals in his first season. He got 21 goals in his second season. On top of that, he got 5 assists in his first and 12 assists in his last. So we're talking about 22 goals and assists in 45 games for Coventry first year. We're talking about 33 goals and assists for Coventry in his second year. Then we moved to Sporting Lisbon. And in his first season, yeah, he got 58 goals and assists in only 50 games. And so far this season, he's played 8 matches and he scored 11 league goals and got 1 assist. So he's got 12 goals and assists in just 8 matches. The guy is flying. He's only played 2 in the Champions League and he scored 1 goal. And in the Europa League of last year, he got 7 goals and assists in only 9 matches. This is the player. Surely people can see that. Surely people are aware of how good he is. He is an absolutely phenomenal talent right now. And it's the one that I look at on form. And form's a big thing for me. Because you can go and have the potential, but you've still got to bed him in. Somebody who's ready now, who's, boom, 26, good age, 0 injuries in the whole of his career, very durable, strong, presence, over 6 foot, great physical attributes, good with his back to goal, unbelievable ball carrying stats, can score goals with his head, right foot, left foot, all sorts of goals as well. I think it has to be the guy. Now, people will say it's a lot of money. Do Arsenal have the money? Is 100 million euros. It works out as 84 million pounds. I think it would be a very, very good signing for Arsenal. Good striker. Havertz, what happens then? Well, Havertz becomes part of the team in the competition, right? Just like Jesus and Sterling are now. Just like Martinelli's had to fight for his place with Trossard. This is how it works. People didn't say, oh, what happens to Partey now that Rice comes to 6? Well, he goes on the bench and he fights for his place. Same with Havertz and Gyökeres, or the signing that we sign, striker that we sign. So, look, for me, I think we have to be realistic about it now. This is a signing that is doing well. This is a player that's doing well. This is a signing that would be good for Arsenal. I love everything about his play. I think he would suit the Premier League absolutely because he can deal with the physical part of the game. He knows where the goal is. He's already played in England in a far more physical league and a far more competitive league in the Championship. So let's do that. And do you know what? Never ever write off players in the Championship. Because Jack Grealish come from there. Eze come from there. Elise come from there. Morgan Rogers come from there. So people that say, oh, we don't want him. He was at bloody Coventry. Trust me. He took Coventry to a playoff final on his own, single-handedly. He moved to Sporting Lisbon, and he's absolutely tore it up with 58 goals and assists in 50 games. And now he's got 12 goals and assists in just 8 games. This is the guy on form in Europe right now. This is the guy. So trust me when I say this. There's opportunity for him, 100% to do well. This one comes in from Nando. Dan, do you think Mikel's looking for another striker that's like Havertz? Sesko and Gyökeres are actually similar, but I would say that Gyökeres has more to his game. He's more all-round. He can ball carry better. He knows where the goal is and he's more clinical. Sesko, I still have my question marks, if I'm honest with you. I'm not sure Sesko's an upgrade on Havertz. He's 4 years younger, or 3 years younger? No, 4 years younger, yeah. So, of course, there's more of a risk. But if I'm honest with you, yeah, I'm not feeling Sesko. I'm not. I'm really not feeling it. So we could go through a stage where we are linked again with loads of strikers in January. We could get to that. That could happen. Sometimes it does, doesn't it? Sometimes we get to that stage where we're linked with everybody under the sun. But we got some big games coming up. And I can't help but think the only position that I'm worried about right now is our number 9. Because if he goes down, we've got to rely on Jesus to put the ball in the back of the net. And in fact, this sounds mad, but with Sterling and Jesus, who were supposed to cover Saka and Havertz, people are already saying play Nwaneri instead of Sterling on the right and play Trossard through the middle instead of Havertz. That proves they ain't good enough. And it proves that I was right when I said that we needed to look at potentially getting a couple of more players in. It's mad to think that. It really is mad. But there we go. That's the way it is. Let's go through some of our fixtures as we close, because we know what's coming up after the international break. Mad fixtures. Of course, we've got Bournemouth first. That's the first game. I expect us to win that game. Not comfortably, but I expect to pick up 3 points. I'm going to go for something like a 2-1, maybe a 3-1 if we can get an early goal. I feel like it could be convincing. Bournemouth are actually quite a dark horse, but they haven't been playing particularly well. I am a fan of Iriola and I like their style of football, but that's got to be 3 points, right? Then we move on to Shakhtar Donetsk at home, which I think is a given 3 points as long as we play a strong side. And this is what we've got to start doing now. Strong sides and then take the best players off. Let's get Partey on for Rice. Let's get Sterling on for Saka. If Odegaard's playing, bring on Ethan Nwaneri. Let's take Havertz off for Jesus. Let's bring on Tomiyasu. Do you know what I mean? These are the sort of 5 subs we need to be making. And then we go again. That's got to be a win. Then we come to the big game. And I actually think this is the most hardest game of all of them. Liverpool at the Emirates. Why is it hard? Well, Liverpool haven't really been tested yet, but they have been playing well. Liverpool are not an easy side to face. They have got Alisson out. Obviously, Kelleher will be in goal. But I rate them defensively. This season, they've got the best defensive record. In midfield, Ryan Gravenberch has been their best player. Or one of. Alexis McAllister is a baller. And they can score goals. Jota the shotter. Salah knows where the net is. And Diaz has started really well. So Liverpool are going to be a threat. But Arsenal are too. I pray that we could get some miracle and Odegaard and Saka make this game. But it does not look like they're going to. So maybe we could drop points here. Then we come on to Preston. That's going to be rotation. That's going to be, other than Raya, who will start in goal, that's going to be the likes of Tomiyasu, Kivior, Jorginho, Partey, Nwaneri, Lewis Skelly, Sterling, Jesus. They're going to play. They're going to play. And fair play, because we should be beating Preston still with that team. Then we come to the big one. We've got Saturday at 12:30, the day before my birthday, Newcastle versus Arsenal. And this, for me, is all up here. Mentally, this is huge. We need to win this game. I'll tell you why we need to win this game. Last season, we lost there. Season before, we got a win. But the season before that, we threw it away big time on getting top 4. It's not been a place that we've liked going to. It's brilliant. The atmosphere is phenomenal. The crowd are up for it. I'm not going this year. I wanted to go. I went last year, but I wanted to go. But nah. For me, 100%, this is going to be a tough test. But I fancy us. Newcastle haven't played amazingly well. They're missing Isak. They need Gordon and Barnes to get back into fire. They need Bruno, Tonali and Joe Linton to start firing. Let's hope they don't on this game. But they're a team I respect. They're a team I think will do well this season still. I still have them floating around Europe. It's going to be really tricky for them, though, at the moment. Then we come to Inter Milan. Wow. Away at the San Siro. These are the sort of fixtures we want. Last time we went there, we won 5-1 in 2004. I believe that was the last time we went there. Or it was actually 2003, but it was the 03-04 season. That was one of the best Champions League nights I've ever witnessed. Beating them 5-1 at the San Siro was just crazy. We were phenomenal that night. Let's hope we're phenomenal again. I really pray that we get something here, even if it's a point. I think it's a good point at Inter Milan. I don't think it's a bad point. I would like to beat them. We don't want to lose here, that's for sure. But I feel like with the other games that we've got, a win would be superb, but a draw we would take. Then, of course, we come to the bridge. And Chelsea are a team we have to beat. I don't rate their keeper. Get shots at him. They haven't got a striker. Defensively, we should be sound. The midfield battle is where we are going to have to dominate. If they have Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer, and Kunku, whoever it be, we need to dominate it. Defensively, we can get behind them. Colwell and Fofana, that's not an unbelievable partnership. It's a new partnership. We've got to definitely try to get in behind that. And Cucurella and Gusto, as much as I rate both of them, I think that we can cause some havoc. Saka's definitely got Cucurella's number. Let's hope he's back for that game. And I think Martinelli can do the same with Gusto on the other. That, for me, is going to be really, really difficult because it's a London derby. Chelsea fans are very vocal at the moment. Stamford Bridge is a place that we've struggled in the last few years. But over the last couple of years, we've had some good results there. We beat them 4-2. We beat them 1-0. We drew 2-2 last year. But we've done quite well there. So look, let's hope that we get the majority of points there. Out of them 7 games, I think we have to win 5 of them. I don't mind drawing 2 of them, Inter Milan and let's say Liverpool, or maybe even one of the others. But for me, we need to go into them games knowing that we can go through a bit of a period. Because Manchester City have got nice fixtures, people. Manchester City have got lovely fixtures. And it's not good timing for us because they definitely have the easier of the fixtures. That's for sure. Manchester City, let's see. Who have they got? It's not looking good. Now, I say it's not looking good. You never know in football, right? You never know in football. But they've got Wolves away. Now, Wolves are a team that I believe personally are probably in the mud right now with Gary O'Neill. There's talks of David Moyes. There's talks of Graham Potter already. But I expect Manchester City to win that game. Then they've got Sparta Prague at home, but their next game is Southampton at home. Then they've got Spurs, but that's in the Carabao Cup. But then they've got Bournemouth away, Sporting Lisbon away, which will be interesting because we've got them as well. Brighton away, which could be tricky, but I'd expect them to beat them too. So far, we're at the 9th of November. They haven't lost a game yet. And then we go into the 23rd where they do have Spurs, which is a team over history they've always struggled against, but I'm not too sure they will this time. They're looking terrible. And it's at the Etihad. So I look at it there. Yes, they've got Liverpool on the 1st of December, but look, Spurs, Brighton, Bournemouth, Southampton, and Wolves. Sorry, guys, but that is full house for Manchester City. I don't see them dropping points there. I just don't. I don't think there's any chance of them dropping points, man. So we've got to be good. We've got to be good. Listen, short but sweet from me. Big up to every single one of you. Thank you so much for all of your super chats. Thank you so much for your questions. Last question of the night is actually from Nando, which says, Verts, you really think we're after him? I think him and Victor Gyökeres should be in January. Go for Nico in the summer. Well, Nico Williams is definitely not a January move. Florian Wirtz won't be a January move. That's going to be a €125 million move in the summer for anyone that wants him. Victor Gyökeres, however, I feel like with a release clause, it could happen. The only reason the release clause with Nico Williams won't happen is because he doesn't want to go anywhere until he decides at the end of the season if he wants to stay in Spain, go to Barcelona, stay with Atletico, or move to England. So for me, I think Victor Gyökeres with a release clause, who would definitely be on the move, in my opinion, if that was released, I think that is where we could see him going. But I don't think Arsenal will sign anyone in January. We don't seem to. We don't seem to want to. It's been very, very poor in the last few January transfer windows. So I expect this one to be pretty quiet. Big up to all of you for watching. Make sure you hit the like button. Take it easy. I'm out of here. And I will see you, over the weekend. Enjoy your weekend, people. Have a great evening. Good night.